Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Eric from the Ringside Rundown podcast, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I will be giving you my predictions, along with the predictions of my co-host Shay, for Saturday's Bad Blood Premium Live event on Peacock. It's going to be a good time, so let's get right into it. Now, just a little disclaimer, usually on the Ringside Rundown, we do our predictions via the podcast, myself and my co-host Shay Hickson. However, due to some scheduling issues and wanting to get other pieces of content out there, we're deciding to do this via YouTube, and because she has such hectic schedule, I will be delivering her predictions on this video, and you can get a sense of how we kind of are in sync with the way we think about wrestling. So it's very, very cool, and it's our first piece of long form content, so it's very interesting how this is going to work. But again, I'll be giving my predictions and also letting you know what Shay thinks about Bad Blood and what's going on with the current landscape of WWE going into this premium live event. So let's get right into it. All right, guys. So for the first match we're going to talk about is for the WWE Women's World Championship. It is Liv Morgan defending the title against Rhea Ripley. And on top of that, Dirty Dominic Mysterio will be suspended above the ring inside of a shark cage. And we find out on Monday Night Raw this past week that Dominic is actually claustrophobic. So that's really interesting. I wanted to start it off, instead of giving my prediction first, I wanted to read Shay's prediction because I find it very interesting. And it also talks to how me and Shay kind of share the same wrestling brain cells. And this is what she has to say. I was totally ready to pick Rhea here, but Dom being in the shark cage is giving me a bad feeling. While he can't do much hanging above the ring, someone else can. Raquel Rodriguez. Her and Liv have teamed before in the past, and both have beef with Mommy. Whether she actually shows up remains to be seen, but I unfortunately think Liv is retaining here, as much as it will piss me off. You don't want to piss Shay off, that's for sure. But Mommy's getting the title back eventually. It's not a matter of if, but when. And Shay's pick is Liv Morgan. I gotta agree almost entirely with Shay here. Liv hasn't been doing much with the title, and I feel like that may be a point of criticism with a lot of fans pertaining to Liv's title reign so far and the execution of this storyline. I feel like it is something that fans like to pick apart. Some fans are into it, some fans are not. I find it kind of entertaining, although I do agree that ever since the turn of Dominic Mysterio in this new formation of the Judgment Day, it's kind of lost a little bit of steam. The one point I want to make is that I find it very interesting that Shay brings up Raquel Rodriguez. We've been seeing her a little bit on social media posts and things like that, so she may be ready to come back, and I feel like that would be kind of interesting to see her in the Judgment Day faction, adding another female presence, not only a female presence, but a dominating female presence in the Judgment Day will be very, very interesting. It'll sort of remind me of Shawn Michaels and Big Daddy Cool Diesel in the mid 90s, and when Diesel was his bodyguard, his heavy. It kind of works that way. The shark cage is very interesting. It adds a wrinkle into everything, but I do feel like Dirty Dominic Mysterio, much like what Shay says, is going to figure out a way to escape from the cage or make himself a part of the match in some way, as well as Raquel Rodriguez. And I feel like this will be something that'll catapult Liv's title reign into being something a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to have to go with Shay as well. I'm going to have to pick Liv Morgan to retain over Rhea Ripley. Next up, we have a match between two former tag team champions, two former partners, two former best friends, two former brothers, now turned bitter enemies out of envy and jealousy. I'm talking about Damian Priest taking on Finn Balor. I am actually really, really excited for this match, and I actually feel like it's going to be a sleeper match. It's a match that people don't expect to be as good as the potential it has to be. I think Both men are operating at a fever pace. The momentum is on both sides, with Finn kind of becoming the de facto leader of this new Judgment Day, and then Damian Priest. The interesting thing about Damian Priest is that despite losing the World Heavyweight Championship to Gunther, Damian Priest's popularity has not been stifled. It's actually grown with this exclusion from the Judgment Day and then forming the Terror Twins officially with Rhea. I feel like his popularity amongst the fans is even greater than his popularity was when he was World Heavyweight Champion. I feel like the wheels for that popularity were just beginning. However, situations called for him to be removed as the champion. And the best part about that, it didn't kill his momentum. It actually made it better. So that's a good thing. As far as the match goes, this is really interesting. Looking back at my notes, it's really hard to pick a winner and say this man is going to come out on top as the victor for this match. I feel like the Judgment Day, this new iteration of the Judgment Day, is a little bit more interesting now. And I feel like WWE and their creative team is going to take the chance to possibly elevate Finn Balor in this new role as the leader, and they want to make him more important. And obviously with Triple H in control of creative and what he was able to do with Finn Balor and Damian Priest to an extent, you'll see that he has kind of an affinity for Finn Balor and he wants to elevate him. And I feel like that's the situation here, where they might want to give Finn the win. Hey, that kind of rhymes. They want to give Finn the win so that way he can be looked at on Monday Night Raw as a key figure. So let's go with what Shay had to say. She says, after months of pain and suffering at the hands of his former brother in arms, Damian finally gets his hands on Finn. There is no love lost between these two, and I expect a very physical matchup. Surely the rest of the bargain bin Judgment Day will interfere on Finn's behalf, but I think Damian is going to overcome the odds and pull out the win. While Finn winning would make him and his crew seem somewhat formidable, Damian winning could actually help them achieve just that. A loss could bring out more of a dangerous side of Finn, perhaps even a demon. Whoa, I don't know about that. For now, though, Damian gets some measure of revenge. So Shay is going with Damian Priest to pick up the win. It's very interesting. And another point I want to bring up with my pick being Finn Balor. I wonder if Finn Balor picks up the win and this may potentially bring him into the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Very interesting. All right, so next up for Bad Blood, we have Nia Jax defending the WWE Women's Championship against Bayley, who defeated Naomi this past Friday on SmackDown to become the #1 contender for that match. And this is Shay's prediction, so it was before SmackDown, so there's a little bit of past information there, but it's very important you pay attention to what she says. And this is what she had to say. While this match isn't official yet, it will be soon. I think both Bayley and Naomi are going to get a shot here. So apparently she thought it was going to be a triple threat match, but plain and simple though, Nia is retaining. I just don't see her losing the title just yet. Now, will Tiffany cash in? I don't think so. I think there's still some more mileage with her and Nia. They can easily build up some more tension and drama between the two until Tiffy's time finally comes. But until then, Nia is walking out of Atlanta with her title. So Shay's got Nia Jax as the winner, and I have to agree with her. That's exactly the point I tried to make in my notes as well when doing this video, is that I feel like the dynamic between Tiffany and Nia, and actually the inclusion of Pretty Deadly, is very interesting. It's very entertaining. I like it. I think they can build upon that little stable there and make it fun. The segment between Nia and Tiffany, to Shay's point, was very well done. It made Nia the true kind of mad queen of WWE. She is the queen of the ring. She is the champion, but she kinda is ruling with an iron fist. So much so that she instilled fear in the cocky Tiffany Stratton. So I think it's very good, and we have to bring to light that Nia's work since she's returned to the WWE for her second run has been absolutely phenomenal. It's been great. I love what she's been doing. She's been fantastic, and she's totally deserving of this role. And I think her and Bayley are going to kill it. Bayley is the veteran. She's sneakily good. She's going to go down as one of the greatest female performers in WWE history. So I have no doubt that this match is going to be great. But again, to Shay's point, I think Nia's momentum, her work rate as champion, especially on her second run to get there, and the entertaining dynamic between her and Tiffany and a little bit of Pretty Deadly is actually going to help her retain and continue this very entertaining championship run. Now let's talk about the match that I'm most excited for the Bad Blood PLE, and I'm talking about the Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. This has been a very entertaining feud, a very violent feud in its own right, and it's just a feud that's based on hate, levels of hate that most people don't understand. But a person like myself, who's like a low-level petty hater, I kind of appreciate it. It's very, very entertaining. It's just hate on top of hate on top of hate, so it's very good. One thing I wanted to bring attention to is what CM Punk said at the Clash at the Castle post-show press conference. A reporter asked him if maybe he was willing to step inside of a structure like Hell in a Cell to end this feud with Drew McIntyre, and he kind of looked at the reporter like he was crazy. Here's what CM Punk had to say.
I think the first match between you both should just be a Hell in a Cell match right out the gate. What do you make of that? And is there anyone else on the Raw roster that you've not faced yet in this run that you'd love to face?
I mean this with all... What was your name? Jamal. I mean this all due respect. This is why I'm happy that you do not run a professional wrestling company. First match is a Hell in a Cell.
Please.
Brother, you got to take that fantasy booking
I just find it funny that Punk made that statement at that post-show press conference, and then here he is inside of a Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre. So again, it's going to be a violent affair. I am looking forward to it. This is what Shay had to say about the match. She said, "I'd love for this match to main event, and rightfully it should. However, I feel like they're going to go with Cody and Roman versus the Bloodline. Regardless of where this match is on the card, this match is going to be fun and violent to watch. Their previous encounters have been excellent, and the fact that this is one of their most likely ways to end the feud for now means that they're going to go all out. I'm going with Punk here, especially since he has his eyes set on gold. A win at Bad Blood is a good start." Now, this is a very, very good point that I didn't even realize myself. Punk did mention that he was looking to face Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, and obviously winning at Bad Blood and a win inside of a Hell in a Cell is a good catapult for that. In terms of the match and who I pick, this one's really, really hard to determine because as a fan, I am just going to watch for the sheer violence, the sheer animosity and tension and all of that stuff between these two. It's just going to be, as a fan, very entertaining and a joy to watch. I do feel like what Shay said is a very good point. Punk already has his eyes set to what he wants to accomplish in his career after Drew McIntyre. This is the interesting thing about this whole thing. It's not for the sake of Punk's career. It's not even for the sake of Drew McIntyre's career. Like, the winner and loser of this match is not necessarily inconsequential, but it's simply just two men that want to fight. Usually in wrestling, the matches happen, and we kind of see a clear picture of who's going to advance in their career, who's going to take the next step into a different picture, most likely the main event picture, and that could be the case here. However, this situation between Drew and CM Punk has been rooted in such hatred and animosity that has taken over any sort of wrestling logic. And honestly, I think most of us as fans just want to see these two men fight. I have to go with Shay here and say CM Punk is going to pick up the win. But the great thing about this situation is that in the end, the winner or the loser, whoever loses this match, is not going to suffer in terms of their career. It's still going to catapult them into the next level of whatever they want to accomplish. So really, maybe what we're looking at is what's going to happen afterward. How are these two men that hate each other so much are going to separate, go their own separate paths, and not be interlocked with each other as much as they've been pretty much since the springtime. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This one is probably the match that I'm looking forward to most. But like what Shay said, I'm going with CM Punk on this one. All right, and finally, that brings us to the main event of the PLE. It is CodyRhodes, the WWE Undisputed Champion, teaming up with his arch nemesis, his biggest rival in his career, Roman Reigns, to take on the Bloodline contingent of Tribal Chief wannabe imposter Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf. I am really looking forward to this match because much like the Drew McIntyre CM Punk situation, it's not necessarily the match itself that intrigues me. It's what can possibly play out. Obviously, we want to know if Cody and Roman can coexist as a team, not necessarily get along, but do what they have to do as a team to get the W and vanquish themselves of the Bloodline, at least for the time being. That is the most intriguing part. It's a play on an old school wrestling sort of angle and storyline sort of deal where you try to see if the enemy of my enemy can be my friend. And it's also intriguing besides the fact that how they get along. Is somebody gonna turn on somebody else? Because obviously there is still some animosity between Cody and Roman. And also, what happens after the match? And Shay brings up a good point, but I want to know what happens after the match. If they get the win, are they gonna celebrate with each other and kind of give a nod to each other like job well done? If they lose, are they going to maybe scuffle or have a little war of the words because they're going to blame the other person on getting the loss? Is somebody going to turn on the other during the match? We don't know how this is going to play out. Again, the sort of dynamic of the enemy of my enemy is my friend is something that is been done plenty of times within the WWE and professional wrestling. But this situation with the Bloodline, Roman Reigns and Cody, it's been going on for 4 years. And it's really true what Paul Heyman said a couple years ago when he said, we're really in the third inning of all of this. You guys have not seen anything yet, which is very true. We haven't seen anything yet. And that brings me to what Shay had to say about the match. Now, here's what she said. She said, now here's the most likely main event of the PLE. To say this match could be filled with drama would be an understatement. Cody and Roman clearly don't like or trust each other, and the Bloodline is going to try and take advantage of that as much as possible. However, they're going to come up short here. The real question is who's getting the pin, Cody or Roman? If these two are headed for a rematch, the one who picks up the win is going to have some extra bragging rights. I didn't even think about that. On top of that, it could have some interesting implications for Survivor Series War Games. On Saturday, though, the Bloodline once again suffers another loss. Shay's pick is for CodyRhodes and Roman Reigns. She brings up very interesting points too. If they're headed towards a rematch between Cody and Roman, the winner, if they can win this match, whoever gets the pin will definitely have the bragging rights, can use that and say, well, I was the one that got us the win against Jacob and Solo. You just stood by and watched me get the win. I'm not the weak link here. I'm clearly a step above you. And again, it goes back to what if they lose? Who's going to blame the other for the loss? Now, she made an interesting point in saying that she doesn't think Solo and Jacob are going to pick up the win. This is the one time I have to think differently from Shay. I think the Bloodline might actually pick up the win. And the reason I say that is because I don't feel like WWE wants to put the current phase of the Bloodline in a position where they're mocked or criticized for not being as dominant as the OG Bloodline. They want the Bloodline to look like a dominant force, which they've kind of sprinkled that in here and there. You know, Roman got a beat down on SmackDown a couple weeks ago and things like that, and they do have moments where they look dominant. But I think to play up on more of the tension between Cody and Roman, if Cody and Roman don't pick up the win, I think what we see at the end of the Bad Blood pay-per-view is Cody and Roman once again bickering because they couldn't at least coexist in a time frame where they can get the W. And then we're going to see Solo and Jacob and Tama Tonga and Tongaloa in the back just laughing because they think they've gotten the one up. And that brings us into the whole War Games situation, where once again, Cody and Roman in some way are going to have to coexist. And then maybe we see the reformation of the Usos and the return of Jimmy Uso. And if we make the War Games match a 5-on-5 situation, I want to see the honorary Us, Sami Zayn, at least for that moment in time, team up with his former brothers in the OG Bloodline. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself for Survivor Series, and we haven't even seen Bad Blood yet. But again, that's the great thing about this storyline, about this feud, is that it has the ability to make you question things and make you want to see what's going to happen. Has the Bloodline story lost steam and gained steam in the past 4 years? Of course, but again, it's a 4-year plus storyline that has been going on. It has revitalized WWE and professional wrestling as a whole. So I think after this Bloodline situation at Bad Blood with Cody and Roman, we're going to get more questions than we will answers, and those questions are going to lead into War Games. Again, my pick, I'm going to have to go differently from Shay here. I'm going to have to go with the Bloodline picking up the win, furthering the tensions between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are mine and Shay's predictions for this Saturday's Bad Blood Premium Live event, which you can only see on Peacock. It is going to start a little bit early this time at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but don't worry, I'll be live doing a watch along on the show on Twitch, so make sure you check me out Saturday, Bad Blood, twitch.tv/ringside rundown. I'll be there with my friends watching the show. We'll be making jokes, having a couple laughs, screaming at my computer screen. So hopefully you guys can join me and join in on all the fun. If you can't, that's okay. You can always check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I say me, but really it's me and Shay. You can check us out Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Ringside Rundown. You can also check out this video and more on the YouTube channel, which is where you're at right now. So while you're there, do me a favor, hit the like button, share it amongst your wrestling friends, and leave your own predictions in the comments and why you predict those winners and losers. I want to see where your guys' headspace is at when it comes to what's going on with the WWE. But again, please join me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ringside rundown, and there you can learn about all the stuff we do as a community, such as movie nights and things like that. We use a Discord server, and in the Discord, it's a constant flow of information and news coming from both WWE and AEW and other parts of the wrestling world. It's a great space. It's non-toxic, non-judgmental. It's a great space for all wrestling fans, whether you're a hardcore die-hard wrestling fan or you're a brand new wrestling fan, or even not even a wrestling fan at all. You just kind of, again, like I said in the beginning, you see that I'm making this content. You might be a content creator yourself, so you want to join. So please go ahead and join us in the Discord, where you can find all that information. And again, you can find that information about the Discord through social media. Come join us, hang out, have some fun, be a part of the little group that we have forming there. So until next time, guys, thank you for checking out this video. I will be back with not only my reactions to Bad Blood, but my match ratings as well, and also Shay. We're going to get Shay back in on the fun with match ratings for what goes down at Bad Blood this Saturday, Atlanta, Georgia, on Peacock. Special start time of 6 p.m. So I'll see you guys there. Thank you for watching the video. Take care.